sure I get that going. Yeah, YouTube loves me. Come on, YouTube, where's the email notification? The 6 people who watch my show really might care for it. Or maybe they're like, finally, I don't have to unclick that bell. Maybe not. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, no notifications. Let me go ahead and at least gab it. What? Oh, here it is. Oh, that's really weird. Again. Oh, no. Yep, no notifications yet. That's fine. Here we go. So what I want to do is, I notice I do like to highlight a lot of videos and other content creators out there. This person who's this YouTube channel, it's called All TV Code Programming, or actually it's called Odd Reality. This channel, I like his stuff. I don't know if I'm there yet with the flat earth stuff, but actually might end up being. And I don't know how many of the videos that I'll go through with you. You know, maybe I should probably put the information down as far as the channel's direct link. That might be a good idea, huh? Because I feel like if I was going to do videos about things, not live, not do things where people could come on and talk about it, I would do things the way and this person's doing it. I wouldn't even call them a conspiracy channel, but I guess people can call it a conspiracy channel. Because, you know, that word has certain things where you would not want to watch this show. Odd reality. So I will show a couple of them. I may do things out of order. You can see when I have nothing to do but take care of my son, I watch a lot of things. Some of it YouTube just keeps going. Some of it I don't think is very good. Some of it I think it's at least somewhat entertaining. You know, it just, whatever is going, it's going. Alright, so this one I love this one. I'm starting to think, I went over it again in I went over this in an open topic once, I think, and I'm gonna, I mean, it's 25 minutes. I think he's correct. I actually watched the other video where he actually gets most of the information, and that would be from Taboo Conspiracy. No, wait, maybe it's that. It's, yeah, Taboo Conspiracy, Alex Jones's, Bill Hicks, 15 Proofs. But this, if you ever want to go see that one, you can pretty much get that information from here. This channel does it. Anyways, I'll shut up. I'll go and play it.
ODD TV. Kill the programming. Hey everybody, ODD here. What's good? I wanted to dive into this Alex Jones-Bill Hicks debate. I've been researching the idea that Alex Jones might be Bill Hicks, and I got to admit that at first, I thought it was completely silly, and I didn't want to go there. But I watched a fellow truth seekers video called Alex Jones is Bill Hicks 15 Proofs. It's by Taboo Conspiracy. Big shout out to him. So anyway, this video will probably receive quite a bit of hate because A, there's a coordinated attack on this information. At least that's what I believe and that's what it appears. B, there are tons of people brainwashed by InfoWars and they think it's a legit source for truth. And C, people who love Bill Hicks think that he would never do anything like this because he was a loose cannon. Luckily, I've never been here for the likes, so I don't really care. Anyway, some say that even if Alex Jones is Bill Hicks, it doesn't matter. I say, if Bill Hicks was recruited to assume the character of Alex Jones as the leading controlled opposition to the mainstream media, then I think that's a big deal. And let me say this, Bill Hicks, for what he was and what his work consisted of, I absolutely love him. He was a total badass, and I have all of his work, and I watch it every once in a while.
We have figured it out. Go back to bed, America. Your government has figured out how it all transpired. Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here's American gladiators. Watch this. Shut up. Go back to bed, America. Here is American gladiators. Here is 56 channels of it. Watch these pituitary retards bang their fucking skulls together and congratulate you on living in the land of freedom. Here you go, America. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
I don't want to disrespect the man if he is dead, but I genuinely don't think so, and here's why. First off, they look identical. When comparing pictures of the two, you'd have to be blind not to see the similarities. I know we all have doppelgangers, but these guys both grew up in the state of Texas and have the same teeth, which is damn near an impossibility, especially when considering all of the other things they have in common. They share the same best friend and production partner, Kevin Booth. Here's a clip of Kevin Booth discussing a little bit about growing up with Bill Hicks as his best friend.
I remember I used to buy Totino's frozen pizza every single night and like a half a gallon of Bluebell ice cream and go over to Bill's house, and that's what we would do. Watch soap, pizza and ice cream, and just listen to albums and watch the show Soap.
Now here's a clip of AJ accidentally slipping up on a show where Kevin Booth was the guest.
No, I'm just giving medical facts here on air, buddy. All right, let's reset, go to break. Me and Kevin are old friends. This is not good here on air. Me and Kevin are old friends. This is not good here on air. A little bit of gallows humor here straight ahead. I'm Bill Hicks, your host. We'll be right back. I'm Bill Hicks, your host. We'll be right back.
You can go to Kevin Booth's website, Sacred Cow Productions, and click on Artist Bios. You'll find that Alex Jones is listed right underneath Bill Hicks. When you click on AJ's bio, it has some interesting things. Let's read the top part here. I became familiar with Alex Jones in the early 90s when he had his first cable access show in Austin, Texas. Alex used to sit in front of a star map, and I had a hard time putting my finger on exactly what it was that Alex was talking about. I remember the very last time Bill Hicks came to Austin Access, spring of '93, we were working on a script called Public Access about a Rush Limbaugh type character who angers a viewer, and the viewer came to the station and killed the host on air. Bill's character was an abstract composite of various Access personalities, including Alex. Okay, it's basically saying that Bill Hicks was assuming a role that incorporated Alex Jones. That's pretty funny. Now let's just finish this paragraph. Bill actually watched Alex one day and said, "He has magnetism, but I can't tell where he's going." So Bill Hicks and Alex Jones have supposedly been in the same place at the same time. I would say on multiple occasions if Bill was utilizing Alex's personality for his Rush Limbaugh type character. And there's no photos that exist of the two together. You can find Bill Hicks with Kevin Booth. You can find Alex Jones with Kevin Booth. But not Bill and Alex. It's not incriminating on its own, but it's worth your consideration as we continue. Bill Hicks was working on a story as a journalist with Kevin Booth about the Waco Branch Davidians shortly before he died in 1994. Then in 1996, Alex Jones pops up out of nowhere with himself and Kevin Booth doing the exact same thing. Here's Bill Hicks in 1993 doing a Halloween special for Sacred Cow Productions.
Sony's on line one.
Sony's on line one? You mean we're out of here? We got the public backing we need?
Yeah, that must be that.
Fuck it, we got our big record deal. We're out of here. Thanks.
And here's Alex Jones doing a Halloween special in 1997, also for Sacred Cow Productions.
Yeah, pretty close. Well, I can assure you I don't make any money off public access.
Coincidence? Maybe. Let's keep going. Some people say that Bill and Alex don't sound alike, but actually they do at times. Here's Bill Hicks.
You suck, buddy, you suck. I can yell at the comedian because I'm a drunk son. That gives me carte blanche. I got a cunt and I'm drunk. I can do anything I want. I don't have a cock. I can yell at performers because I'm a fucking idiot because I got a cunt. I want you to go find a fucking soul.
And here's Alex Jones.
You know what it's like to go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day? You know what it's like knowing you've ruined my life? You know what it's like, you sons of bitches? I'm tired of your crap! You commit evil, you're part of an evil system, and we're standing up against you! And the Republic is going to defeat you in the end!
I don't have a cock! I can yell at performers! Because I'm a fucking idiot! Because I gotta
go to sleep every night knowing you work for a bunch of psychotic killers, and you bastards are probably going to end up killing me one day!
Bill Hicks as an entertainer could do lots of voices, I'm sure. Hell, here's Alex Jones showing you some of his.
Well, we're down here at the legendary Access Studios, where Bill Hicks was interviewed by Lord Booth. Where Bill Hicks was interviewed by Lord Booth.
Get behind our troops now out there in the Gulf. Road home for our boys comes back from Baghdad.
Mr. Stamler, this is Billy Johnson calling from New York. We have got your award here, and we'd like to present it to you at the midterm 2004 World Tiddlywinks Championship. So we'd like to see what you can do with those tiddlywinks. I hear you can, well, flip them like nobody else in the world possibly can, Mr. Stamler. We do appreciate you calling us.
And remember that Alex Jones is a very dangerous character, so need to work with someone of that type of caliber. Very wicked.
In fact, just like Hicks, Alex would also do stand-up comedy.
I got the film clip of Eisenhower back in 1958 calling Fidel Castro the Abraham Lincoln of the Caribbean. Maybe he is. But my point is, they put that motherfucker in power. They put him in there.
Another coincidence, don't mind me. Isn't it a little weird that on the 10th anniversary of Bill Hicks' death, Alex Jones accepted a Bill Hicks portrait as an award?
Tribute to Bill Hicks, February 26, 2004, commemorating 10 years since Bill left our world, presented to the Bill Hicks Foundation for Wildlife, Jerry and Lynn Raridan, and the fine folks at Capital City, aka Laugh Stop Comedy Club by Kevin Booth, Sacred Cow Productions, and artist M.A. Hardy. The following Bill Hicks productions were recorded in this club: Sane Man, 1989, Relentless, 1991, Arizona Bay, 1992, and Ranton E. Minor, 1993.
This is long before there was even a connection made between Bill and AJ. Before we go any further, I must bring up the fact that according to searchable birthdays of Bill Hicks and Alex Jones, there is a little over a 12-year difference in age, with Bill being older. So Alex claims he's 44 now, and Bill would be 56 right now. Let's note that here in 2018, that Alex Jones does not look 44. He doesn't look 44 to me. Also gotta say that people age differently depending on how they treat their bodies and things like that. So again, just want to make a note of it because people have been making notes of this for quite some time.
It is important for the viewer of this video to know that Bill Hicks is 12 years older than what his character, Alex Jones, claims to be. That being said, let's play a little game. How old is that man? 30 or 42? 32 or 44? 35 or 47? 39 or 51?
Moving forward, Kevin Booth credits Bill Hicks and Alex Jones as the producer of his 2013 film, American Drug War 2. On many occasions, Alex Jones talks about being Bill Hicks.
Yes, I am Bill Hicks. Or to be more accurate, you didn't get it all, did you? You didn't get the full conspiracy. I played the character, Bill Hicks, for 15 years with my accomplice, Kevin Booth, and we fooled you all. The master actor, the master genius. And then I decided to bring forward an even more incredible persona, that of Alex Jones. The Queen of England's my mother. Oh, actually, that'll start a new conspiracy theory. Actually, Bill Hicks is my mother. No, the government, in an immaculate conception, climbed on top of my mother, and that's how you got Alex Jones. I am the son of Obama, Bill Hicks. The whole world is a stage, and each of us players upon it. I mean, as Bill Hicks, I know that better than most. Folks, I am Bill Hicks. And I'm sitting here looking at all this, and these people come up to me on the street, and they go, hey, Joe, something like 5 times. And then I turn and go, oh, I knew you were, I mean, not Joe.
Alex Jones. Alex.
Whatever.
Whatever your fucking name is. Alex Jones.
All right, the programming's wearing out. So I want to just get this out of the way. I am Bill Hicks.
Has been called Bill by some of his guests.
The missing records, it's the proof of cover-up is the proof of guilt.
Yeah, and we just wrote this ebook, question of eligibility, under my name, Jerome Corsi and Mike Zollo, D-U-L-L-O. We lay all this out, just like we did at the press conference. Now, your question.
And you've got Carrie, who's absolutely in another universe, in an alternate space, and, quantum Quagmireville, basically Quagmireville.
And Alex even claimed to be funnier and more successful than Hicks.
You're going to keep purveying that Bill Hicks myth when you do that, because that sounds like the devil Bill Hicks voice when you do that.
We should just get a tight shot of Merlin at the microphone.
And then Rush Limbaugh's there and the devil mounts him.
Here's the truth. I'm a lot funnier than Bill Hicks. I'm a lot more successful than him.
Definitely.
And it just shows the total mental illness.
And that's why you had to stop that character and just totally fully commit to
Bill
Alex
Hicks,
Jones.
but I mean, the guy was from Texas.
While later being a total hypocrite.
And, it's actually kind of mean to the family, folks. Bill really did die of pancreatic cancer. And that's not why Kevin Booth is here. He's here to talk about American Drug War, too. I just want to be honest with folks. Actually, Kevin Booth is Bill Hicks.
In an issue of the Maybe Quarterly, Bill's best friend, Kevin Booth, says this. Even Joe Rogan has gone back and forth since I first introduced him to Alex. He keeps flipping back and forth between either this guy is a complete lunatic, or it's almost like he is some kind of savant that is seeing into the future on some weird level. What's weird is that I think Alex is one of the funniest guys I have ever known. I mean, I think that Alex is funnier than Bill. Alex makes me laugh harder than Bill ever did. He is such a genuine character. That's just not normal behavior for a lifelong best friend to display. You know, Kevin Booth's Bill Hicks' best friend, and he's disrespecting him big time by saying Alex Jones is funnier than Bill. That's insane. That's ludicrous. They say Bill died from pancreatic cancer. The thing is that the most likely candidates for pancreatic cancer are between ages 60 and 80, not 32. Is it possible that Bill died of pancreatic cancer? Sure, but it's not likely. On some versions of American, the Bill Hicks story, the tagline says, "The true life story of the outlaw comic that tried to save the world. He still might." Perhaps a little clue there, and that's not the only one. On page 423 of Bill Hicks, Agent of Evolution, Kevin Booth wrote that on the way back from Bill's purported funeral, that Bill had appeared sitting shotgun in Kevin's car, and then Bill proclaimed that he had done it. He pulled off the world's biggest joke, like it was all a magic trick. Let's look at the book. I'll show it to you. What's up, everybody? ODD. Got the book. This is the book written by Kevin Booth. It's called Bill Hicks, Agent of Evolution. And I just want to show you that the page 423 real quick. So let's have a look. So here's page 423. And he's talking about, Kevin Booth is talking about being at the funeral. And he said, "There is nothing so real in the world, but at the same time, it was like a dream. How did this happen? How come Bill is dead? He was fucking 32. 30 fucking 2. The strangest, most beautiful person I ever knew or ever will. And he's dead at 32. So just wanted to read that because he's kind of, you see how crazy it is that he made that statement that Alex Jones is the funniest person he's ever met. But let's jump down here to the bottom. It says, "I was driving the old brown Blazer by Seton Hospital near my house. I caught something out of my periphery. I looked over and Bill had appeared sitting shotgun in my car. He told me that he had done it. That he had pulled off the world's biggest joke, like it was all a magic trick." Okay, so that's page 423 of Bill Hicks, Agent of Evolution. Another interesting clue is in the orange drink connection. Bill had a stand-up segment about orange drink.
You ready? Orange drink. I'm going, what's the name of it? Orange drink. It's classic England, right? It's such a socialist nightmare over there, right? That's the drink. It's orange drink. I said, yeah, you really got my act down good, guys. That'll be great. You know, when I'm done ranting about elite power that rules the planet under a totalitarian government that uses the media in order to keep people stupid, my throat gets parched. That's why I drink orange drink. Yeah, right. See, don't you see how it would all fit in? Don't you see how every word I said would be hollow and filled with nothing?
And for some odd reason, Alex Jones sells an orange drink called Tangy Tangerine.
Now, there are hundreds of great products at InfoWarsTeam.com, but I want to point out the 3 that have helped me lose 37 pounds in just 2 months. Products like Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Pollen Burst, and Rebound. When I started taking the Tangy Tangerine and other products every day, I lost more than 37 pounds in just 2 months.
So did Bill Hicks assume the identity of a character named Alex Jones? Most likely. But even with the slightest chance that it isn't the case, Alex Jones is still 100% controlled opposition. He works for Ted Turner, who owns Time Warner. We find proof of that when an InfoWars employee is questioned by a cop.
You want? Right there, right there.
You work for Time Warner Cable?
Right there.
Is that who you work for?
I work for Alex Jones. Who do you work for?
You work for President
I work for InfoWars. InfoWars.com. It's a website.
InfoWars.com. Okay, that's what I'm asking, so I can tell who you work for.
So they don't like us.
We also find evidence of it with the movie A Scanner Darkly, where Alex Jones is part of the cast.
Can't you figure this out? Look around you. Look how far we've come. Humanity wasn't meant to live like this. Our every waking moment, tracked and traced and scanned. It's time to stop submitting to this tyranny. It's time to realize that we're being enslaved.
And who put out the movie? Warner Brothers. So he's handled by Time Warner, again, owned by Ted Turner, who is a member of the Bilderberg group that Alex Jones complains about. It's all a joke, a distraction for these people. It's obvious that Jones is a Zionist gatekeeper.
Do I support Israel or don't I? And I've been very, very clear that I do support Israel.
There's so much out there, but to top it all off, Jones is seen in the eyes of many as the leader of the truth movement, and he acts like the nuttiest bastard on earth.
What do I do, Lord?
Destroy the child, corrupt them all.
This is their plan, people. These are demons. Repent now, repent now. I know your mustache is cool. You got little gold framed glasses. You scare me so bad. You scare. Scum! Nellies going, kill everybody. I get off when I talk about cutting people's power off. I'm a Nelly. Yeah. I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer. I'm a human, and I'm coming. I'm animated. I'm alive. My heart's big. It's got hot blood going through it fast. I like to fight, too. I like to eat. I like to have children. I'm here. I got a life force. This is a human. This is what we look like. This is what we act like. This is what everybody was like before us. This is what I am. I'm a throwback. I'm here. I've got the fire of human liberty. I'm setting fires everywhere, and humans are turning on everywhere.
Many people do not and will not take conspiracies seriously because of Jones. He's not harmless. He is the premier controlled opposition for the mainstream media. For those of you that are new, this is a common practice among the ruling class, and it's called the Hegelian dialectic. This means that both sides of a debate are controlled by the same entity, and whatever end result that the entity is looking for can be gained by manipulating either side as they please. The world is a stage, and it's all a show. The Black Pope, the Jesuits, Black nobility, Zionists, Khazars that supposedly don't exist, and of course many of other branches, groups, think tanks, organizations, and institutions that are under the umbrella are responsible for keeping humanity down and under control, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, etc. Alex Jones was created and set into motion by high-level intelligence agencies in order to condition the masses, keep them at bay, and desensitize them to the truth. This has been your boy ODD. Thanks for watching.
The InfoWars host in a legal battle for custody of his children. His lawyers say the fire breather on the web isn't the real Alex Jones, that he, quote, is playing a character, that he's a performance artist.
Please explore more videos here on Odd Reality to learn more about the deceptions of the world.
I don't like them putting chemicals.
Now this one I think wasn't as, is probably my least favorite of his, because I think he could have done it better. This one, the 15 proofs, is actually a little bit better. And this is from Taboo Conspiracy. I don't know why I don't have that set. But anyways, I have to look more at that channel. What are the reasonable odds? You know, same face, build, lamp. Okay, you know, not too much. Teeth, that's a big one. Same old friend producer. Now that is a rarity. Same associations and stuff like that. Time Warner, mannerisms and voice. I mean, I could see the potential. But again, like many others, I may not be convinced. But again, we're going into occult personalities, Luciferian stuff. Trying to find it. There's pictures of Kevin Booth and there you go. I think this is it. I mean, I think the problem is the guy ODD kind of missed a couple of the good ones here. This is,
you know, taught it at medical school and all that, and it was literally, they just said it's cybernetics, it's highly advanced, and he was.
I'm a man without conviction. I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. You come and go. You come and go.
If you guys don't know this cult symbolism, then I don't know why you guys are still here. Yeah. They can pull the biggest joke in the world, and who else would want to pull the biggest joke in the world but a comedian? And that biggest joke is becoming the persona of someone else. Now, for those gamers out there, I don't know about it now. Let's see. Stop it there for a second. I don't know about it now, but in the 1990s and 2000s, there's a lot of things called smurfing going on. If you don't know what smurfing means, it's kind of the gaming urban dictionary of playing under an alias that's other than your normal one. So, for example, I would play as El Capitan, but I don't want people knowing who I am, so I play as a different name, like, say, like, for example, Punjabi. No, I'm hoping that no one would know who that was, but people can figure it out. People are pretty dang smart. It's like, I would admit it if they caught me. It's like, yep, that's me. How'd you guys figure it out? Is they could tell by the way I play the game. They would look at the recorded games. Look at the key presses. They would look at the hotkeys that are pressed, because the one thing different than me as opposed to other players is I use the keyboard hotkeys a lot more than I do the mouse. I have less mouse clicks, more keyboard clicks. No one else out there did that, so that was just one little assumption. It was like, okay, this person has a lot more keyboard clicks. Well, one of the better players out there is El Capitan, and he uses keyboard clicks. And then they look at the style of gameplay. It's like there's a certain style of how I played as someone else's name that I didn't change up. I didn't think of doing it. Yeah, people can figure it out. Like, I could play just like 2 games and I try really hard not to play the same way, and they can still figure it out. That's how good some people are with this observation stuff. And, you know, biggest joke in the world. Who else to do it but a comedian? Who else better to play controlled opposition? And I totally agree with ODD here about him being Alex Jones being a controlled opposition. Yeah, definitely. That's the reason why I don't watch Alex Jones as a conspiracy theorist. He's gonna throw some things out there that are good, then go overboard. And you can see in the video that, of course, ODD didn't really cover. I think he just kind of covered things that he thought was pretty good, but not the rest. Of course, again, here we go. More of the occult symbolism there. Kevin Booth this time. I mean, if they were, let's suppose, again, you guys may not think so, that the powers that be are occultists, Freemasons, Luciferians even, that they hold a lot of power, and you see this prevalent throughout Hollywood, any type of celebrities out there, musicians, heck, even politicians and famous people within government, wealthy people and corporations don't do these things. Hell, you'll even see actors wearing Aleister Crowley shirts, and we'll get to more of that later. Anyways, if there is such a thing and that exists, who else to supplement them with all the money and the resources to make this happen? And who would want them to do it? Obviously, the people in power, because controlled opposition gives them more control. And if you don't think that, you need to take some strategy lessons, I guess. Let's see. I think that was mainly it. There's one or two other things that I thought was pretty good in this one that wasn't in the ODD one, and I can't seem to find it. Oh well. On to the next one. Is Alex Jones, Bill Hicks? Who knows? We may never know. Again, my idea is it's kind of the same thing. Bill Hicks, is he smurfing us with Kevin Booth? Isn't it ironic that Kevin Booth worked with both of them, but you'd never see Alex and Bill together? And then teeth is a big indicator, although we'll probably never see it. Pancreatic cancer for someone so young. I mean, that's just kind of a funny way of dying if you think about it. Who better to come up with their method of death than a comedian like Bill Hicks? Pancreatic cancer. I mean, a couple of people who, I mean, things aren't gonna escape. If you're playing someone else, you're gonna somehow give away who you are. Like when unintentionally, Alex Jones would say, and this is Bill Hicks, or someone else would say, hey, but Bill, or hey Bill, and it's not. It is one of those just flip of the mind. It's not necessarily on purpose. It has some merit. Not definitive. It has merit. Again, who better to play the biggest joke of all time than a comedian? And then the second part is Alex Jones, controlled opposition. Yeah, I think so. And if you don't, then give your side of it. That's what this is for. That's what this forum's for. Why do you not think it's controlled opposition? Oh, the one that I missed. The one that reason why kind of hits home that Alex Jones controlled opposition. You'll see him being invited by Piers Morgan on CNN. And of course, you see Alex Jones putting on his display. And then afterwards, Piers Morgan saying, yeah, he was all nice and normal. And all of a sudden, we're live and he's going all crazy. It's an act, for sure. But act for who? I don't even know how much InfoWars has. Let me look. Where's InfoWars? I don't know. Action's channel? Is that what they call? Oh yeah, that's right. InfoWars ended up breaking away, right? 2.3 million. I mean, that's like that's quite a lot. That's a lot of influence. Yeah, you're gonna want to control opposition. That shit. You've got your right, which is InfoWars on YouTube, and you got your independent media, alternative media, and then you got your left, TYT. How much does TYT have? 3.9 million. Yeah, there you go. You want that controlled opposition? You've got them. TYT, InfoWars. Or sorry, not InfoWars. Alex Jones. And then you got to watch out for Joe Rogan too sometimes. I don't agree with Joe Rogan all the time. Alright, my kid is having issues. My wife, I don't know what the hell she's doing. Give me a second. I'm gonna play another one that I liked. Ah, here we go. Is it that one? Or oh, I like this one. I like the puppet design. I'll go with the NASA later. I like talking about NASA and the moon landing. But let's go with puppet design. Inappropriate. I can't wait till they do that with my channel. I understand. I wish to proceed. Don't believe what you think. Don't believe what you read.
There is absolutely no doubt that Donald Trump is supported, owned, and operated by the Zionist Jew power structure. It is a verifiable fact. It is a fact the mainstream media and mainstream alternative media alike will dare not touch. Anyone ignoring this fact and not exposing this is either incredibly naive or bought and paid for to sell you disinformation. Donald Trump is absolutely surrounded by and has appointed psychopathic neocons and Rothschild Zionists, yet many are in delusion and denial, largely in part due to their desperate desire for a savior. And this is what the elite have counted on. It is through this desperation and demoralization of a collective consciousness, sick and tired of a corrupt system and government, they were able to once again pull off another dog and pony show and manipulate people into believing that once again, things could be different this time. Through the obsolete and meaningless system of voting. Hope and Change 2.0. Unfortunately, this is just another case of meet the new boss, same as the old boss. We are led to believe that Trump is at war with the mainstream media and the establishment, a mainstream media that is mainly Zionist, Jewish owned and operated, another verifiable fact. Trump is also surrounded and supported by an endless stream of Ashkenazi Jews in his organizations and administration. He is, of course, a quote-unquote lifelong supporter and true friend of Israel, the largest terrorist state in the world. Sadly, most people do not realize that Israel and Mossad intelligence were key players in carrying out 9/11. If Trump truly was for the people, he would help expose the stranglehold of Israel and the Zionist power structure. Keep in mind, the Israel of the Bible is a completely different entity than the modern United Nations created state of Israel, which is a terrorist state of the New World Order. This is a distinction many indoctrinated Christians fail to grasp. America is just a puppet regime of Israel and Zion. A small fraction of the population are finally discovering that this Zionist apparatus controls our Federal Reserve System, corporations, Hollywood, and our media, and have our politicians in their back pockets. An even smaller fraction of the population understands that Trump would never get to where he is if he weren't owned and operated by these same powers. And as they say, the proof is in the pudding. In addition to Trump being a staunch Zionist supporter, all one needs to do is look at who surrounds and supports Donald Trump. Then you will understand how the media versus Trump narrative is just another ruse in Zionist script. The scripted battle between Trump and the Jewish-owned media was the key chessboard move to legitimizing Trump in the eyes of the demoralized populace. a demoralized populace who by now has little to no trust for the so-called dinosaur media. The idea that Trump is at war with a Jewish-owned media while simultaneously surrounded and supported by an army of them is as ridiculous and absurd as it can get, and isn't remotely believable to anyone aware of who really owns the media. Many have also been fooled into believing Trump has hinted at 9/11 truth, but this is nothing more than laughable to any real 9/11 researcher. What he has stated publicly on 9/11 thus far has been nothing but lies and misdirection. In addition to being friends with 9/11 perp Rudy Giuliani, Trump has focused on the limited hangout and misdirection angle of Saudi Arabia, which is what gatekeepers, disinfo agents, and the media focuses on, ignoring the huge elephant in the room, Israel. Trump has publicly stated that he saw quote-unquote thousands of Muslim Americans celebrating the 9/11 attacks in New Jersey, which is the biggest lie imaginable. The real truth Trump or your mainstream media will never mention is the only people actually documented celebrating the 9/11 event were a small handful of undercover Israeli Mossad agents who had been in the US for months and some for years, whose operation was busted by a nationwide FBI sting and were captured on the George Washington Bridge with explosives in their van of their front company, Urban Moving Systems.
Fabric, the reports we're getting now, 2 or 3 men arrested on the New Jersey Parkway. Deborah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. That is the information that I am getting from 2 sources, that there was a van either on the New Jersey Turnpike or the Garden State Parkway, and that it was near the George Washington Bridge. There were 2 or 3 men who were in the van. The van was pulled over. It is not clear why the van was pulled over, but when it was, law enforcers found tons of explosives inside of the van. That is right now all I'm hearing, but again, 2 to 3 people in custody, and we are trying to get more information on that right now.
And word late tonight that 2 suspects are in FBI custody after a truckload of explosives was discovered around the George Washington Bridge. That bridge links New York to New Jersey over the Hudson River. Whether the discovery of those explosives has anything to do with other events of the day is unclear, but the FBI has 2 suspects in hand, said the truck load of explosives, enough explosives were in the truck to do great damage to the George Washington Bridge. But they arrested the 2 suspects and they're questioning them as we speak.
Since 9/11, we have thousands of pages of FBI, CIA, and DOJ reports documenting the arrests made on 9/11. The FBI report outlines the fact that the dancing Israelis were found to have taken 76 photographs, had maps, plane tickets, box cutters, and almost $5,000 in cash. In their 2004 civil lawsuit, the Israeli plaintiffs demanded their possessions and money back, in addition to many other demands. The declassified FBI reports also outline the little-known fact that additional Israelis driving vans were arrested by police in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire after the 9/11 attack. Numerous trucks and vans with explosives were stopped by police on 9/11. And, as outlandish and unbelievable as it may sound, one of the vans had a mural painted on the side of it depicting a plane crashing into the Twin Towers. This is confirmed by 2 sources. 1, the New York Police radio transmission recordings from the day of 9/11. 2, it was also discussed by U.S. Transportation Secretary Norman Mineta himself in his February 2006 official report titled Saving City Lifelines, Lessons Learned in the 9/11 Terrorist Attacks. The report stated, quote, "There were continuing moments of alarm. A panel truck with a painting of a plane flying into the World Trade Center was stopped near the temporary command post. It proved to be rented to a group of ethnic Middle Eastern people who did not speak English. Fearing that it might be a truck bomb, the NYPD immediately evacuated the area, called out the bomb squad, and detained the occupants until a thorough search was made. The vehicle was found to be an innocent delivery truck." End quote. The report, of course, makes absolutely no mention of the truck exploding or the fact that these Middle Eastern people had actually been Israeli spies.
I got a message on that plane. It's a big truck with a mural painted of an airplane diving into New York City and exploding. I don't know what's in the truck. The truck is in between 6th and 7th on King Street. Alright, 10-4, I'll send the issue in the bomb squad there for Westgate. The first? With a mural painted, airplane diving into New York, blowing up. 2 men got out of the truck. ran away from it. We got those two on the... That's good. And you got those... Are you holding those two guys, Kate?
I've got so many questions, but you are vindicated. This has got to be the 50th time the last 6 months on the radical Muslims celebrating, not just in New Jersey, but New York, Palestine, all over. What do you have to say? They're still attacking you, though we've got Dan Rather on video, we've got New York Post, we've got Washington Post, we've got, I mean, what's going on here? On the radical Muslims celebrating, not just in New Jersey, but New York, Palestine, all over. What do you have to say? They're still attacking you, though we've got Dan Rather on video, we've got New York Post, we've got Washington Post, we've got, I mean, what's going on here?
Well, I took a lot of heat, and I was very strong.
Of course, even though Israel's involvement in 9/11 is now documented, proven, and verifiable fact, this information has been well swept under the radar. Most Americans will never realize what took place regarding the many Israeli spies arrested and detained on 9/11, only to be later released and sent back to Israel. This information will never be mentioned or covered by the mainstream media, let alone Donald Trump. And that is because he is obviously in bed with Israel and the Mossad. So now you can see how absurd the notion that the Jewish-owned media really hates Donald Trump, when they actually love him. Take CNN for example, all Jewish-owned and run. The major shareholder for CNN is Aviv Nevo, an Israeli billionaire venture capitalist. Head of CNN is Zionist Jeff Zucker, along with the many Zionist Jew propagandists such as Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer, Larry King, and many more. But you get the point. The reason the media has been quote-unquote against Donald Trump is because that was the Zionist script that has been written. This glaring contradiction is how you can see through this elaborate charade and deception of Trump, the so-called anti-establishment figure. Now you know when you see him call out CNN or any other mainstream media outlet, it is a ruse and nothing more than Zionist scripted entertainment and distraction for a dumbed down and ignorant populace. The bottom line is, you cannot be anti-establishment, anti-globalist, and be pro-Zionist, pro-Israel. This is the real truth. And until we see otherwise, nothing will ever change.
It is time to drain the swamp in Washington, D.C.
Her papers went out to all her friends at the banks, Goldman Sachs, and everybody else.
President-elect Donald Trump turned to former Goldman Sachs banker and movie financier Steve Mnuchin to be the next Treasury Secretary.
We're working on the economic plan of the transition, making sure we get the biggest tax bill passed.
The 53-year-old was Trump's campaign finance chief, building a network of donors to support Mr. Trump's general election campaign. Mr. Mnuchin has strong ties to Wall Street after a 17-year career at Goldman Sachs, where he pioneered block trading, the selling of big chunks of shares at once. Mr. Mnuchin was born to a Jewish family in 1962, and his father also worked at Goldman Sachs.
It's official. President-elect Donald Trump has picked Gary Cohn to head the National Economic Council. Gary Cohn's also going to be an assistant to the president for economic policy. If you've been watching CNBC, you already knew this because we've been reporting this for what feels like days, but now it is. We will miss Gary at Goldman Sachs, but I believe the American people and the president-elect are fortunate that he has chosen to serve his country. I am confident that Gary will bring his many talents and expertise to the White House and will do his part to make our economy stronger for all Americans. That coming from Lloyd Blankfein, the CEO of Goldman Sachs.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail. I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation.
Everything he just said is absolutely false.
Hillary has worked very long and very hard over a long period of time. And we owe her a major debt of gratitude for her service to our country. I mean that very sincerely.
Are you going to ask for a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton over her emails?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to think about it. She did some bad things. I mean, she did some bad things.
A special prosecutor?
I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. They're good people. Hillary Clinton, commonly referred to as Crooked Hillary. She's crooked as a $3 bill. She's married to an abuser, a woman claimed rape and all sorts of things. I mean, horrible things. She should be in prison. She's the queen of corruption. She's a disaster. She is a dangerous liar. She's the devil. She's a monster. Hillary Clinton, I think, is a terrific woman. I mean, I'm a little biased because I've known her for years. I live in New York, she lives in New York, and I've known her and her husband for years, and I really like them both a lot. And I think she really works hard, and I think she, again, she's given an agenda. It's not all of her, but I think she really works hard, and I think she does a good job. I just like her. I like her, and I like her husband. You'll be looking at the record of Hillary Clinton, and how did she do as Secretary of State? Probably above and beyond everybody else and everything else. From the cradle to the grave.
One of the things I do like is being able to see a couple of things that I've not seen before, especially with 9/11 and the 5 Israeli terrorists and the truck and the mural. That's hard to pass up. And then, of course, he's kind of in the same boat as me. We're not picking a side. He's going to hit hard, not just on the left, but on the right with Donald Trump. Not just on the left. Which we may not see yet, but we will. But also with Alex Jones as controlled opposition. And he does have a point. That I agree with too. Alright, let's see. Here we go with, I mean, there's plenty to do. You may not like it because of the flat earth, but I will watch it and show you guys. Because I think the input is good. Let's go ahead with NASA fails again and again. Let's do the media monopoly, since that is something you guys all know, and you guys he's covered it. I think there might be actually a little bit more out there. We'll see. I can't remember.
Headley. And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these stories simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
Well, a child's happiness is priceless, right? Especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday. A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on their birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially when it comes to their birthday.
Absolutely.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday. A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
Well, a child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's smile is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
You know, a child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday.
A child's happiness is priceless, especially on a birthday. You like that?
In consumer news, economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year.
Economic factors may take some spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. Economic factors may take some of the spring out of the Easter Bunny step this year. Economic factors may take the spring out of the step of the Easter Bunny this year.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says, yeah, baby. Mike Myers says, yeah, baby.
Mike Myers says,
Yeah, baby. Did I say that right?
Yeah, say it right.
Yeah, baby.
Talk show host Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be able to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on his late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night TV.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope once again on late night TV.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien is looking to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night TV.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be about to push the envelope on late night television.
Conan O'Brien may be preparing to push the late night envelope.
And welcome back to the show. I scream, you scream. You know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest. Well, I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream. Well, you know the rest. I scream, you scream. Well, you know the rest.
Got it. I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, we all know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream. Well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream. We all know the rest of it, right? I scream, you scream. Well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, and you know the rest. I scream, you scream, you know the rest. I scream, you scream, well, you know the rest.
Well, I scream, you scream, well, I think you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, and everybody knows the rest. I scream, you scream. Well, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, you know the rest.
I scream, you scream, and you know the rest.
I scream, you scream. You know the rest.
I don't find that funny, I find it scary.
Third time I've said that. I'll probably say it 3 more times. See, in my line of work, you got to keep repeating things over and over and over again for the truth to sink in, to kind of catapult the propaganda.
They've got you running in circles, 9 to 5, then 5 to 9. You're mine. I tell you what they want you to know.
That last piece with W. The guy was an idiot, but at least he revealed it. Yeah, that was a long segment. You guys all seen that before. You guys know all that stuff. Let's go with the NASA failing, and then we'll go to the good one. Now, this is that the flat Earth. I think you guys are gonna be like pretty triggered on.
ODD TV.
So, on January 3rd, 2018, there was a major malfunction on what's called the International Space Station. In a video on NASA's YouTube channel called Space Station Crew Members Discuss Life in Space with the Media, the 3 astronauts, all disappear simultaneously while the background layer of the ISS remains intact.
Thank you very much again. Thank you for your time. Have a good flight and many more exciting experiments on the orbit. Thanks a lot.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
This and the actors, they are the only things that mess up. Watch closely. This is a big deal because it means without any doubt whatsoever that there was live editing and video manipulation. Not only would the background get scrambled as well, but these guys wouldn't all disappear at the same time. So check that one out on NASA's channel. I'll leave a link in the description. There are a lot of us that have been showing this stuff for years, and people are waking up to the deception, while some refuse to acknowledge it. In fact, many people hold the idea of outer space and NASA very near and dear to their hearts. So much so that when they are shown this evidence, their ego won't allow them to accept that space is a hoax. Years of psychological programming through various media doesn't help either. But whether we like it or not, NASA and all the other space agencies are lying to the world. They're lying to you. They're lying to your kids. We've caught NASA too many times to count at this point. We catch them glitching, There's this one video where the actor is going around a corner and he is faded out before making it completely out of the viewer's sight. Let's not forget space bubbles.
Dave Williams about to move out of the Quest airlock. Those particles that you see emanating from the airlock is said by the EVA officer Paul Baim in Mission Control to be particles of water from the crew's sublimators on their spacesuits.
There you go. Come up a little bit there. Okay.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, and it just happens that actors train in an underwater tank. NASA tells us that the Earth is photoshopped because it has to be.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Then
there was another layer to sort of simulate the atmosphere.
And then there's this little bright spot.
It's called the specular highlight. So it's the reflection of sunlight off of water.
Those are the pieces, but you can't just slap them all together.
It just didn't look realistic. It looks kind of flat, or the clouds are sort of too see-through. So I just hit Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
What I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space.
Some NASA actors say that you can totally see stars when you're in space.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Yeah, because you can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah,
you know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas. Magellan clouds of the Milky Way galaxy.
You see the Magellanic clouds.
Magellanic, see, I just wanted the Magellan clouds.
Well, there's a large one
and
a small one, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see the zodiacal light.
Whoa.
But the NASA actors from 1969 say that you can't see the stars in space.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any. You can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
I don't remember seeing any.
NASA says that we can't leave low Earth orbit.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on Space Station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
And this is really the beginning, I think, of human beings leaving low Earth orbit.
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
NASA tells us that they lost the 1960s technology that took us to the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
The ultimate destination is Mars. So if you gave me all the money in the federal budget today, I could not get a human to Mars.
I think that what you're doing is taking a shot in the dark. You have no way of knowing if any commercial entity will ever be able to put a man in orbit, no matter how much money you throw at them. What you're doing is you're taking NASA's manned space program and making it a faith-based initiative. I yield the rest of my time.
NASA also says that they lost the telemetry data for the moon missions.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
Speaking of fabricated moon missions, we as humanity have been being systematically brainwashed to accept the moon landing when they finally did fake it. For instance, in 1902, the very first sci-fi movie ever made came out. It was called A Trip to the Moon. The guy who made this, George Méliès, made all sorts of similar short movies around the same time. The astronomer's dream. Impossible voyage. Courtship of the sun and moon. Conquest of the pole, the North Pole, that is. Anyway, more pre-moon landing movies that conditioned us mentally were Destination Moon from 1950, (1955) Conquest of Space, 1958, From the Earth to the Moon. That's the same year NASA was established. 1960, 12 to the Moon. Then, in 1962, JFK gave his famous "We choose to go to the moon" speech.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things.
Followed by more mental conditioning in First Men in the Moon, 1964. And Jules Verne's Rocket to the Moon in 1967. In 1969, NASA goes to the moon for the first time, where President Nixon talked to them on the phone with no problem.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made from the White House. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you have done. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives.
Only there is a problem. Nixon would not have been able to talk to them because the moon is supposedly 238,000 miles away. From then on, most of the world believes that NASA really goes to a place called outer space, and anyone that disagrees is an ignorant conspiracy nut lacking in education. It's not all their fault, though. The propaganda is rampant. In 1981, MTV launches and does their first broadcast with the use of NASA imagery.
7, 6, 5, 4. We've gone for main engine start. We have main engine start.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
MTV even uses an astronaut on the moon as the logo for movies. And they give out the astronaut statue for Best Music Video Award. This is because MTV is ran by Freemasons. They even operate out of a Freemasonic temple. You see, NASA is also a Masonic entity. Most, if not all, NASA astronauts belong to a lodge, like our buddy Buzz Aldrin here. Freemasons are just drudges in the grand scheme of things. They do a lot of grunt work for the grand deception and the New World Order. Freemasonry is a Jewish establishment whose history, grades, official appointments, passwords, and explanations are Jewish from beginning to end. Isaac Wise. Also, I'm not saying that all Freemasons are bad or in on any conspiracy. There are certain lodges and certain individuals and families that are privy to the teachings of the mystery schools because of their social status. It's not for your average Freemason that joined the local lodge down the street. Anyway, back to Buzz Aldrin. This guy has lived his whole life being a puppet for a more sinister power. He is still 100% under oath to obey today. Here he is at some fashion show with Bill Nye. Looking good, Buzz, looking good. Speaking of Bill Nye, this guy was an actor on a sketch comedy show called Almost Live before being picked up by Disney in 1993. We all love Disney, right? Well, Disney, with the 666 in his logo, has a special club at Disneyland called Club 33. And if that wasn't enough, Walt Disney helped found NASA along with Werner von Braun, L. Ron Hubbard, and Jack Parsons.
Here to introduce you to this new series is Walt Disney.
In our modern world, everywhere we look, we see the influence science has upon our daily lives. Discoveries that were miracles a few short years ago are accepted as commonplace today. Many of the things that seem impossible now will become realities tomorrow.
To this day, our minds are under attack constantly by these parasites. We are submerged in a sea of programming and brainwashing to believe in things that have not and cannot be proven. They want us to believe that Earth is the result of an accidental Big Bang that gave way to life of single-celled organisms that eventually turned into fish, then amphibians, then monkeys, and then us. We are told that we live on a rock that spins as it flies through outer space, and at any moment, we can be destroyed by an asteroid or invaded by aliens. They say that one day the sun will die out and all of this is over. Well, gee, if that doesn't make you feel special, then I don't know what will. Question everything, because everything you think you know is wrong. This has been ODD TV. Until next time, everyone.
One thing I liked about that is just a compilation of a lot of the stuff, and you can actually see a little bit more on maybe one of the next videos. I am one of the people who think we did not go to the moon, and if we did, it didn't go the way as it was shown to the public. At any rate, let's go to the one, and maybe we'll finish it off here. You guys can watch a lot more of the videos. There's actually a lot more. I might do a part 2 tomorrow, along with the Bill Cooper stuff, because now we're starting to dive into A lot more of the occultism, Freemasonry, Illuminati, maybe even Luciferians. I mean, they're all one and not the same, but a part of each other.
To study.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make an announcement. Has anyone heard the Earth is flat? Well, I just got kicked out of Starbucks for asking NASA employee questions because he's lying. You ever hear about the flat Earth? Did you know what's in the Bible? That the Earth's flat?
You need to turn that off.
You can't touch me.
One of the first lessons we learn in school is that the Earth is a globe and rotates on an axis and orbits around the Sun. But there is an increasingly large community of people who reject this and instead believe that the Earth is flat. BTV wanted to track down the real people behind this emerging internet conspiracy, so we travelled to LA to spend some time with flat earther Nathan Thompson.
Has anyone ever told you the Earth is flat?
I've heard
Yeah, it's
before.
hot. I run a group called the Official Flat Earth and Globe Discussion. Can I get you in there?
Nathan runs the Flat Earth and Globe Discussion Facebook group, which now boasts close to 40,000 members.
At first, I was extremely skeptical. I thought this was the craziest idea I'd ever heard, and I was going to debunk it in 5 minutes. And after about a month of not sleeping and really just digging through the information, I was a flat earther. No one is just completely in the matrix and wakes up to the flat earth. They started out with 9/11, they started out with vaccines, they started out with chemtrails or something, because they're lying to us about a lot of stuff. It's more than just the shape of the earth.
My name is ODD, and I run a channel on YouTube called Odd Reality, and I go over many conspiracies, including the flat earth, and I recently hit 75,000 subscribers. What happens is you go to school and you're basically taught and you absorb the information that the earth is a spinning ball flying through outer space before you can even think on your own, before you can think critically. So you spend the rest of your life in that state of programming because you learned it at such an early age, it just becomes unquestionable. But what has happened is the current flat earthers have went back and rigorously looked at this heliocentric model, and we've come to find that it's highly ridiculous and hardly anything in it has ever been proven, including the curvature and the motion of the earth.
We're not dealing with normal people that run the world here. They're psychopaths. I actually can't believe how popular the group is. I woke up this morning and I have 2,200 members to approve, so the group is just exploding.
We accompanied Nathan while he was out canvassing the streets of Orange County, trying to recruit some new members.
I would say 50% of the time, someone leaves a conversation with me saying, I didn't know any of that information and I'm gonna look into it. And then the other 50% of the time, they just reject it regardless of, what you show them. Everyone's coming out about all the celebrities, Shaq, Tequila, B.O.B., Kyrie Irving. They're all talking about it, and it's kind of funny is that they just make it seem like a joke, but I don't think it's a joke that NASA steals $50 million a day, $19 billion a year. No. That's crazy, that's a lot of money, So I'm just out here trying to wake people up. Okay. I feel like it's my purpose.
Not only do supporters think that the Earth is flat, they also believe that it's surrounded by a heavily policed giant ice wall.
Oh yeah, so it's very easy to circumnavigate.
You really can just fall off.
No. There's an ice wall around and they guard it. So since 1961, they've been guarding the ice wall. And do you know what we started doing in the 60s? Fake space travel. Yeah, of course. Yeah, my pleasure. Right, thank you.
Regarding the ice walls, it's never been proven, but it makes a lot of sense. Something has to hold the water in. We know that the water is not falling off an edge and there's no ships and boats going off the edge. That's all a ridiculous conception to make people laugh at the flat earth theory when they hear about it. So The thing is the ice walls have been a part of maps for 1,000 years. The first map with the ice walls in it comes from around the year 1000 in the 11th century by Al-Biruni. And back then it was just a map. Now it's called the azimuthal equidistant map, and it's defined much differently. It's defined as a map that's a flattened out version of the globe, when in fact they reversed engineered it, and the globe is a rounded spherical version of the true world flat map.
So if the Earth is flat, then why are they lying? Why are they hiding it from us?
The group have also made claims that space exploration is fake and that NASA is a fraudulent organisation. Much of their beliefs instead are based on religious ideologies.
You know, a lot of Christians are drawn to the flat earth model because in the Bible, they back up the flat and motionless earth pretty much throughout the whole thing. But me, I'm not religious, and there's many people like me who aren't religious, not Christian, not anything, just looking for the facts. And the facts are is there's no curvature to be detected, and there's no motion that can be measured. So why are they telling us that it's so, you know, that these are proven facts? Why is it taught as fact in school when it's all just a theory?
The whole globe earth model, in my opinion, it wasn't devised by men. It was devised by the devil who wants to deceive everyone. But NASA tells you that stars are billions of light years away. NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. Now, who speaks Hebrew? There's your answer right there. So you asked me who was behind it, and I think it's pretty obvious once you do the research.
This translation of NASA is popular amongst flat earthers and other conspiracy theorists. However, when we approached a professor of Hebrew at the University of Cambridge, we were given the following translation. So while the root of the verb to deceive is similar, this frequently used translation is in fact incorrect, and NASA in Hebrew actually means to lift.
NASA, to be, you know, to deceive in Hebrew or to lift, it doesn't really matter because either way they both come from the same root word. So it's not to lift. They're basically lifting you out of the real, you know, out of reality. They're lifting your imagination into outer space, which is not what we're told. You could look up at the sky and see the stars and the wandering stars, aka planets. But it's not like you can't go traveling into deep space. Everything we see is not billions of light years away or trillions of light years away, or the sun's not 93 million miles away. It's all contained within our sky. It's our system. You know, it's just, we have a barrier up there that prevents men or anything from leaving. And you could find this information admitted by NASA.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go.
The kinds of technologies that we're testing out on space station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
And this is really the beginning, I think, of human beings leaving low Earth orbit.
You could also see for yourself that NASA admits that all the telemetry data for the moon landing missions is no longer in existence, and that we do not have the technology to go back to the moon.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
So you look at all that and you gotta wonder what's going on with NASA. Why were they able to go to the moon 6 times between 1969 and 1972. That's a 3-year period. They went to the moon 6 times in 3 years between 69 and 72. Here we are in 2017, and we can't figure out how to get past low Earth orbit, and we can't get back to the moon. That is very strange.
I'm here today because I was aware that the Flat Earth Society on Facebook was going to meet here. I wanted to meet with some of them and hear from their mouths what their thoughts on the way the Earth is shaped and how the solar system works.
We are not the Flat Earth Society. The Flat Earth Society has been propped up by the powers that be to be, it's basically controlled opposition. So when someone, if you start thinking, hey man, there's a lot of evidence that supports the Earth being flat, or you're actually one of those rare people that could do research unbiasedly, you go to look, and the Flat Earth Society is pretty much the top ranking result on most internet searches. So when you look up anything, they have a bunch of answers for things that do not make any sense. So if you like, well, what's gravity on the flat Earth? You look at their website and it basically says that the Earth is rising constantly at a certain rate, which makes up for gravity. But that's just absolutely ridiculous. If the Earth was actually moving and we were moving upward constantly, we would fly right into the sun, right? Something like that. So it's a big turnoff for new people that want to look into the flat Earth. You start looking into it, you find Flat Earth Society, you get told very strange, laughable answers to your questions, and then you give up your research right there. You're like, nah, the Earth's not flat.
Hey, have you ever heard the Earth is flat?
We invited Spencer Marks of the Independent Investigations Group to come and challenge some of Nathan's views.
The Independent Investigations Group is a rational, scientifically based skeptics organization that investigates claims of the paranormal and fringe science claims. Well, I'm pretty sure that the Earth is a globe. I believe, through research, you believe the Antarctica is an ice wall. Is that correct?
True, yeah. I haven't personally been to the ice wall. I've heard people have been turned around at gunpoint for trying to investigate the ice wall independently.
The ice walls do not have to be heavily policed, in my opinion. They keep us in the middle of our flat Earth, on the continents, you know, in the middle of the pond, if you will, surrounded by the ice wall. It's not like a 360 police holding hands, you know, with guns waiting for someone to get there. There's an Antarctic treaty in place signed by, I forget how many nations, 50 nations, 52 nations, something like that, quite a few. And anyway, it keeps people from independently going to Antarctica.
I know water doesn't fall off because there's an ice wall on our theory. So, I mean, how about, you know, how does water stick to a ball that spins 1,000 miles an hour?
Gravity.
But gravity is nothing more than a theory.
Because there's got to be some force that keeps us on the ground, right?
Well, yeah, there is. It's called density. So if Earth's moving 1,000 miles an hour around the equator.
But you're moving with it.
So there's no Coriolis?
No. Think about being on a train going like 60 miles an hour. Do you feel slammed against the back like this? Or do you just move with the train and it doesn't even really feel like it's moving?
But now jump on top of the train.
Yeah.
And spin the train. I'm open to evidence, and for the first month, all I wanted was Earth to be a globe. And the more research I did, the more I found out, you know, it's just a crazy concept.
The flat Earth is something that can't be shoved down someone's throat or told. You just can't tell someone the Earth is flat. You can't tell them the hundreds and hundreds of reasons why the Earth is flat and motionless. These people and, you know, all the people out there, you got to come to that conclusion on your own. And once you do, you'll see what I mean. Nobody could tell me the Earth was flat. You know, I had to figure it out on my own, and so do you.
Do you think we went to the moon? I'm just curious.
I know for a fact we went to the moon.
Oh, for a fact?
Yes. 100% of the evidence tells us we went to the moon.
Those astronauts are liars. You could tell before they went to the moon and after they went to the moon, their demeanor had completely changed from someone who's rock star celebrity to someone who's, I'm being told to lie. And basically my life's in danger if they would have came out about it. And I think they killed some of the astronauts. If you look at the number of people who died trying to get in the space program or be an astronaut, it's astronomical.
How does the sun move on the Earth?
Take this and put it right here, right, and go around it like this.
Okay, that means the sun wouldn't rise and fall in the east to the west as it does
it would literally go out, and it
kind of does, in my opinion.
The sun rises and sets due to perspective. Now you take a ball, you're on a ball, okay? You take that ball, you rip it open, you flatten it out. It makes for a much, much larger surface area. So the sun being smaller and closer is able to circle around and go in its daily circuit and appear to come up and go down due to human perspective only.
I would believe in a flat Earth in a heartbeat if there was actual evidence to support that model of how the Earth and the solar system worked.
Most people claim that, you know, if there was actual evidence to support the flat Earth, they would be on board, but it's just not so. They say that even though the preponderance of evidence is already in our court. There is no motion, there is no curvature. We're trying to figure out, you know, people say boats go over the horizon. While you're on the ground looking at a boat and you're just watching, a boat will appear to go over the curvature of the Earth, right? But then you take a amateur balloon and it'll go as high as 121,000 feet or higher, and you can't see any curve. The horizon rises right to your eye level. So to say that you can see a boat go over the curve on the ground is ludicrous, because you can't even see a curve at 120,000 feet. So there's a lot of contradictions, you know, and people, it boils down to the programming. People have spent their whole life watching space movies and reading space magazines and just loving science. You've been taught that, you know, if you're down with science, you're smart and stuff. And people just have a hard time letting go of what they've been taught. It's called cognitive dissonance, when new information comes in and you can't handle it. So you just kind of break down, or you just continue rolling with the old information because you don't want to be wrong. You don't want to be wrong. You don't think you're wrong. You don't think you can be fooled. It's pride, it's ego. There's so much involved with it. But to be quite frank, the flat Earth has all the evidence. While you go and investigate the heliocentric model, you can't find any evidence that the sun is 93 million miles away. You can't find evidence that the moon is 238,000 miles away. You can't find evidence that the Earth is curving 8 inches per mile squared. You can't find evidence that the moon, or that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. You can't find evidence that the Earth is rotating around the sun or going in an orbit around the sun at 66,000 miles per hour. You can't find evidence that the Earth and the sun and the entire solar system are flying around the Milky Way at 600,000 miles per hour. You can't find any evidence that the whole Milky Way is flying through infinite space at over 1 million miles per hour. This is what they're telling us, and you can't find any of it. None of it. There is no evidence to support a spinning ball darting through outer space.
I think they cling to it because it feels to them like they have special knowledge that other people aren't aware of, and that gives you a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning.
This isn't a thing to make we don't feel special, like we're more enlightened than everyone else. This is something that hits home with people because they look into it and they see that it's true. They see that there is no detectable curvature. There's no measurable motion.
There's no proof of 24 hours.
There's an online video done at McMurdo Station where the guy followed the sun for 24
McMurdo.
hours. It's a scientific station.
Can you Google that, please? Today was awesome. I thought the conversation with Spencer was fairly pleasant. He was open from the beginning to the idea the Earth might be flat, which is key anytime you're in a debate.
If you're looking to determine whether the Earth is flat or round, you don't figure out in your mind that the Earth is, a square or any other shape, and then find confirming evidence. You look at the evidence around you and go in the direction that evidence takes you. In this case, for thousands of years, we have known that the Earth is round because that's where all of the evidence points to.
When people think of the word flat Earth, they're thinking, flat, 2D Earth, you know, but yes, we have mountains, we have hills, we have valleys, we have stuff like that. So it's not flat, but it's level. Whether we have mountains that raise up higher or valleys that go down lower or whatever, the point is that the plane that we live on is level.
The Flat Earth community is the realest group of people you will ever come across. We don't appreciate lies, and we just want to look for the truth.
And most of the time when you tell people about Flat Earth, in their mind, they take the spinning ball and they replace it with a disc. So therefore they think we're just a disc hovering in outer space. But that's not the case. Everything about the heliocentric model has to go. We are a flat, stationary, level plane, just sitting somewhere, stationary, and everything you see in the sky is revolving around us. We're still just chilling on the flat, stationary Earth, just like it seems, just like your senses tell you. And you look up and you see, you know, the moon passes by, you know, at night. The sun comes by during the day. The stars, if you do a time lapse with your camera or something like that, you see that they just constantly rotate. So we're not a disk in the middle of outer space. We are flat, stationary Earth, just sitting somewhere. We don't know where. But that's just what it is.
Now, for me, I'm definitely not in the flat Earth area yet. Who knows if I ever will be? But he does have a point. We don't know. And the people who tell us everything have and always will lie. So, like me, I would love to become an astronaut, be an astronaut, fly out of here, see what's out there, explore the great unknown. But then again, you're gonna just have to be a millionaire, a billionaire, have special privileges, have special connections in order to get on something like that. And then are they gonna let you record anything that they don't want you to record? Who knows? Now, is there a purpose behind it? I think I saw a video I thought that was gonna be the last one, but I think I watched something of theirs. Let's see. That might have like a reason for. Should I go with Fahrenheit 451? That might be it. Of course, there's quite a lot. Let's see. I mean, there's so much. A lot of it's been covered before. Some of the things that I shared in the past, but many may not know, because once I turn to this stuff, you guys automatically think that I'm crazy, that I'm a lunatic, and that I'm proving mainstream media right. Yet again, you're gonna believe things that mainstream media says. You're gonna believe the things that the people who write your textbooks that taught you as a kid think. Are you gonna believe what the people at your Christian church says, or your Catholic church, or your Jewish whatever, or your Muslim whatever? Are you gonna believe anything that they tell you without proof? Are you gonna believe anything that the government tells you? You know what? I don't believe. Gonna have to find out. Research. Not just search, but research. Research. And I'm getting attacked, not just by the ones up top, but the ones at the bottom, thinking I'm going crazy. I think what's crazy is to limit yourself to something that someone tells you, and because everyone else believes it, that it's got to be true, it's got to be fact, that's the evidence. No thank you. I'm in that minority. I'm the agnostic. I'd say there's probably 2%, maybe less, of the world's population that would consider themselves agnostic. Yet, I'm the crazy one.
Welcome to ODD TV, where sci-fi and fantasy merge with reality.
So there's this old movie, right? It's from 1966 and it's called Fahrenheit 451. It's based on a book from 1953 by Ray Bradbury. It's about a future American society where books are outlawed and firemen, as in fire departments, have the duty of burning any books that are found. Well, just a few days ago, HBO put out a remake of Fahrenheit 451. It has Michael B. Jordan from Black Panther as Montag, and the guy that bones Eminem's mom on 8 Mile as Beatty.
Together, we are
Fahrenheit 451, a fire station so named because
Fahrenheit 451 is the temperature at which book paper catches fire and starts to burn.
in the original version, books were the only target. However, this new remake expands the near future's banned material list to include music, art, personal computers, and movies. At one point, Montag curiously holds a VHS copy of Taxi Driver in his hand. A few seconds later, he peers at a crumbling film strip of Gene Kelly singing in the rain. The HBO version opens with a quote from the Bill of Rights. "It is better to be happy than free." It's a lie, of course. In the future, the state has rewritten history itself, 1984 style. In fact, there are several parallels that can be drawn from George Orwell's 1984 and Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. The future described in 1984 is a society locked within a state of perpetual war and suffers from omnipresent government surveillance and public mind control, all dictated by the ruling political party. Independent thought is seen as a criminal offense. Citizens who partake in independent thought and individualism are persecuted as being guilty of thought crimes. All this is carried out and justified to be in the name of the so-called greater good. This is similar to Fahrenheit 451 in the sense that books are banned from public viewing and are burnt if seen. Books are a physical representation of a person's individuality and independent thinking, and for that to be banned from the public is essentially identical to prohibiting individualism and free thinking.
Do you want to know what's inside all these books? Insanity.
Anyway, so now only 3 books that have been abridged into a handful of emojis are available to the citizens in Fahrenheit 451.
The Bible, To the Lighthouse, and Moby Dick. This is all you need to know. Anything else will make you sick, crazy. And that's why we're here, to protect you and to keep you safe and happy.
In this movie, the Internet of Things is known as the Nine. The Nine is run by an Alexa-like operating system named Yuxi.
2 times 2 is 5. Is sometimes also a most charming little thing.
False.
Yuxi, I said go dark.
We are dark. It's just me and you.
Yeah, this version of the film is much different from the original and the book. This one includes the all-encompassing state of social media and even mentions the AI takeover.
Before bots and the rise of automated writing, we had jobs for journalists. Some did. She'd spend weeks, sometimes months, investigating a story, and then she'd publish a series of articles, even thousands of words long, on physical paper and the internet. Or the Nine today, which everyone was free to read. But nobody was reading anymore, or they were just glancing at the headlines generated by an algorithm.
Thousands of words. Ugh. In your pathetic time, were people happy?
This is something that's coming and happening right now, really. With the rollout of the 5G network and the rise of smart grids, smart cities, smart poles, smart cars, smart this, smart that, numerous nanotechnology applications, and so on, we are entering into the kingdom of Skynet, you know? Genesis.
Yeah, I pre-ordered Genesis weeks ago, downloading the second the counter hit 0. No way I'm standing in line for it.
You know about Genesis? How? What is it? Where'd you hear about it?
I'll call you back.
Genesis is an operating system? What's it do?
Genesis does everything. My phone will link to my tablet, will link to my computer, will link to my car. Everything in my life uploaded and online 24/7. Totally connected.
Connected to what?
A fully automated system with weaponized airwaves and the ability to microwave anything, anywhere, at any time. As with any movie, the critics are out there. Most people are not giving this Fahrenheit 451 any positive feedback. They're saying this is just more of the same dystopian stuff we've been bombarded with for the past 10 years. Not that it matters, but I did enjoy this film, and I would say that we've always been immersed in this kind of content because there is an agenda at play. Do your research on predictive programming. Predictive programming is a subtle form of psychological conditioning provided by the media to acquaint the public with planned societal changes that will be implemented at a later date. There are many proofs for predictive programming that have come to pass, including September 11th and Donald Trump being the President of the United States.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. How bad is it, Secretary Van Houten?
We're broke.
Pop quiz, hotshot. Besides government, what has a president and a vice president? Yep, corporations. You want to know why?
America's not a country. It's just a business.
Lots of truth to be had from movies. Meanwhile, the news is completely fake. And then this movie about professional book burners right in your face when this has always been a problem, and it's still happening. The truth is, I can show you this huge list of book burnings, but appropriately enough, we can't really rely on that to be accurate. There's probably thousands of unrecorded incidents. The main reason for book burnings is to erase history and rewrite it. We are already living in this 1984 nightmare dystopia, but most of us can't recognize it from the inside. It's like asking a fish, how's the water? Most fish would say, what the f is water? We are so tangled up in this system that was already in place before we were born that most folks just can't see it. There's a part in this flick where they're all proud about Benjamin Franklin being the founder of the fire department, but they think that he set out to destroy books.
Benjamin Franklin, the founder of our first fire department, gave us the right to burn.
Those are lies. Ben Franklin did not do that.
Did we used to put out fires?
That's a classic eel lie.
And Benjamin Franklin,
Founder of our first fire department.
I'm comfortable in saying that history has been revised time and time again.
The year 1939, when Charlie Chaplin and his evil Nazi regime enslaved Europe and tried to take over the world.
The Zionists and the Jesuits have been hard at work for centuries to achieve their goal of total world domination and have a one world everything. They pretty much already have it, if you haven't noticed. They have to get a few other resistant countries on board with the plan in order to proceed, but it's all happening now, you know? While we're being either too complacent or distracted. Combination of both. Happy slaves, comfortable slaves, ignorant slaves, etc. And the most ironic part about it all is the fact that we are distracted from the truth by the truth. Only the truth we are distracted with is disguised as fiction. And you see a lot of remakes lately of older movies like Westworld, turned into a TV show. The Handmaid's Tale, turned into a TV show. The Giver, turned into a movie. And I hear that Metropolis, a miniseries, is in the works by the guy that created Mr. Robot. I really like the old movie because it lays it all out there, like early on in cinematic history. The silent movie depicts a slave class that operates underground machines to power the city for the elite class. Very straightforward and absolutely true. The economy is the system, the beast, the machine that the rulers and their minions thrive on. We could have used it against them if they hadn't already dumbed us down and divided us to the maximum.
There's a time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Thank you for watching ODD TV. Feel
Alright, I think that's enough for today. Give you a little bit of odd reality. There's a couple more. There's some things that I wanted to show but I couldn't find, but I also don't want to kind of go over a lot. Go ahead and give Odd Reality a sub. Ring the bell. We are the digital age, information age explorers. You can't find anything if you don't go looking for it. So if you're not looking for it, you're not going to find anything, right? And if someone does find something and they tell you, you're going to be like, whatever, you're just saying that. But then we might say, hey, why don't you just go down for yourselves? This is what we found. If you don't think we actually found it, this isn't reliable information, or the sources aren't legitimate in your opinion, then go find it for yourself. That's all kind of the entire premise of, I think, the Truthers. I never thought I'd be calling myself that, and I think it's been subverted anyways. It's been taken over. Controlled opposition, of course. And it doesn't really take much to shut your idea down, your plan down. I've been shut down. I am shut down. But at least I can keep exploring. I can keep going. The rabbit holes are there. You just have to go down it. You're not going to find anything if you just stay up at the surface. And the ones telling you not to go down it are the ones who you know are lying to you. So if they're lying to you and they tell you, hey, don't go there, why else would they tell you not to go there? It's like if you're hiding something from someone, and they're getting close to the spot where you hid the things that you don't want them to find. You're going to distract them. You're going to tell them, hey, you know, there's nothing there. Why would I put it there? You gotta look over there. That's probably where I put it. Anyways, there's a lot more to talk about, especially when we dive deeper. And if I could find that video, diving deeper into everyone with the evolutionary stuff. Like, I would never have thought I would be believing into believing with the Christians of all things, but Christians aren't in power. Another thing I noticed is that unlike many other religions, the Christian religion has been splintered. Like, there's probably, like, I don't know how many different Christian religions there are, or different little sub-Christian versions of themselves. But that makes me think if they can't infiltrate, they just recreate. And then within that, they will just bring in more people for their recreated segment. Some things you can't, like the Roman Catholic religion. You can't really splinter that off. They did a little bit, but it's not as much. But those that don't splinter, you just control them. You can see that there's been a lot of control of all religions. There's no need to create that one religion. That's where I think what I like about having a lot of different viewpoints from different conspiracy theorists. There are people all over that are going to tout themselves as conspiracy theorists. I'm one of them. But they're going to tell you one thing, and I'm going to say, no, I don't think so. Like, I'm in the same boat. Things don't appear the way that they appear. But just because of that doesn't mean that what you're speculating is also the way it is, or it's going to be. There's got to be at least a pattern of history, pattern of behavior, pattern somewhere where it can get you to that spot where you can get others on board and saying, yeah, that sounds like it could happen, and pretty recently, and you know, like another planned, and like another look, I can make one conspiracy theory up that will be true, that there's going to be another mass shooting in America where the FBI were investigating this said individual that planned this mass shooting and they couldn't stop it. And then all the surveillance videos and etc. for that mass shooting aren't available. All the details into that mass shooting aren't going to be available, at least not to the public. And then there's going to be another push for gun control. That stuff, that's a pattern. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to believe that, or at least believe in a conspiracy theory that I mean, that doesn't even have to be a conspiracy theory. You could just say, hey, FBI haven't been doing their job of stopping these things, and they're still not. But then does that make a conspiracy theory that the FBI is in on it, or it's fake, or whatnot? Doesn't matter. Does it matter? We just know that the political agenda push is going to be there. And guess what? The NRA, President Trump, the gun reform, that stuff didn't happen on a Democrat's watch, on a leftist watch. It happened on the conservatives, the Republicans' watch. So if you are picking sides, either side, they control both sides, controlled opposition. Yeah, they say one thing, they do the other. You have no other choice to vote for anyone. You're like, I'll vote for the Republicans because they're saying what stuff the stuff that I support, and then now they're doing the stuff that you don't support, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll vote for the Democrats this time because the Republicans pushed me over, and the Democrats are saying, nope, we're gonna actually go further on that. And you're like, okay, I'm not gonna vote for the Democrats. I guess I'll vote for the Republicans again, see if they screw me over, and then next thing you know, yep, they screwed me over again. Anyways, that's the political me, and that political thing is, it's kind of like a end, not a dead zone. Maybe it is a dead zone. It's an end zone. It's a dead zone. Yeah, dead zone. There's no way it could get out of this politically. No empire has been stopped through political means. Again, that's history for you. Yeah, I think I've been there, Jinx. It's like the flat earth. I'm not there yet. Quantum Conscious. I watch his stuff. If you don't watch his stuff, yeah, he's in the same boat. A lot of people think we are in a Matrix-like world, or we're in some alternative world, or we're in a mirror world, or an upside-down world, or something like that. And there's merit to it, but you know, that requires a level of belief, and I'm not there yet. I don't believe. It would be simple to believe. You know how simple it would be just for me to believe that everything that's been told to you, that you've learned, is true, that the mainstream media aren't lying, that the politicians aren't lying, that the Hollywood, all the movies, all the documentaries, that they're based on fact, that whatever, believe in one religion or another just to fit in. It's tough being in the minority, and being a minority living in a town that's less towards your overall type of persona. But in the, I guess that's what makes people tough. You're the adversary, not just because of you want to be, because that your thoughts, the behavior, your maybe logical process, not your belief process. I mean, things could be easy. Like many can be ignorant. I don't know if that's a choice. Is it? Is ignorance a choice? Can I stop? I'm gonna have to. Maybe I'll stop there. I'm gonna go figure out some stuff, and then I'll look into the golden web. Heck, I've explored everything else out there so far, even some really dark stuff. Oh man, I mean, that dark stuff is dark, and when I see people wearing or being followers of people who wrote or believed this dark stuff, man. All right, that's it. Ryan Bennick's on. People want to go there. I'm pretty sure you guys are there. You guys don't want to listen to all this, watch all this stuff. I guess it's a personal thing, huh? All I can say is, if you think you've got a solution out there that'll work, well, go for it. Keep doing it. But if you want to ignore other people who are exploring other facets of truth, because no one else is, and because the ones who are, you consider crazy, and the same ones who consider the same people you're calling crazy are the ones who lie to you every day for most, if not all, your life, then you better rethink some things. That's all I gotta say. All right, I'll see you guys later.